how we met each other was through one of your children, through Camp Aranu'tiq, which I've talked about a lot on the show. Camp Aranu'tiq has brought so many different people into my life. It's just, I'm gobsmacked all the time that these things have happened. And it brought your daughter into my life. And your daughter is a pistol, an absolute firecracker. The kid's wicked intelligent. There's my New England word for the day. I actually threw out wicked and didn't even think of it. Lord, I'm becoming New England. And, but she was one of these kids that was so confident at the camp and so sure of herself. Whenever the talent show happened or anything like that, she knew she was going to lead the talent show. She knew that she was going to do a skit, and she organized all these people. And that's pretty impressive for a kid her age. And then you throw on top of it the fact that your daughter is transgender and has this confidence. I didn't have that growing up, not at all. And I have to think that some of that confidence comes from parents that support her.
Well, that's very humbling to hear, but it's also been very humbling just to know Leah her whole life and to be there with her and to see her ego strength and sense of self. She really is a very confident child. Yes. On multiple levels. And, you know, we hope that continues to be the case. We just want to help sort of be advocates and good parents and love her unconditionally and for who she is. More than unconditionally, I think sometimes sounds trite, but, you know, appreciate every aspect and love every aspect of Leah. And quite honestly, that's pretty easy to do. I agree. You know, all of our kids are easy to love, and you know, but we've learned a lot, and we're still learning, and there's worries and fears and that go along with a lot of raising children. You know, and so it's just our set of variables is maybe a little different than others. Oftentimes, but not always. We have a great community that we've met in and around Boston, and we live in New Hampshire. So, in really all over through camp, we've met people from really, literally all over the world. Well, not literally, but from many spans of the globe.
Yes, there's been a lot of people.
Yeah.
There.
So it's been an eye-opening and really, well, I don't know what to say here.
I mean, I think what you're saying by not saying anything is that it makes you speechless. There's not words for it almost, what you're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, if I can be so bold as to say this and to brag on you on another level just for a second, I didn't know until discussing with you that you are now truly an advocate for more than just your daughter. You were talking about at the university that you work at, this committee that you're with, and that you were at there last night at a committee meeting. And did you even expect, were you an advocate before Leah, or is this kind of evolved through that, or is this something that's always been a passion of yours?
You know, it hasn't always been a passion of mine. Not at all. I mean, I've been supportive of LGBTQ plus and its iterations along the way and people for years. But when you have a child, it changes that perspective immensely. And it's interesting because when we first, well, actually not when we first, but as we went along this journey as a family, my wife Christy and I, we were introduced to a number of organizations in Boston and then in Philadelphia, the Philly Trans Health Conference.
Huge conference.
Huge conference, right? So that actually was my first And I think our first real sort of place where you are sort of immersed in trans topics, culture, etc., even if it's in just a wing of the conference center in Philadelphia.
Right. Can you give me kind of a time frame of what year this was, so we can give a kind of a reference point?
So this was in, I think, 2011 that we first went to the Trans Philly Health Conference. I could be off, but
in that area.
We've been twice. We went in 2011 and 2014, or maybe in 2012, our first visit. And that's when I spoke. I spoke with a trans woman in the sort of conference hall, and we had this great conversation. And she told me, make sure that you're a parent first for your child, and then make sure advocacy is after parenting.
Good advice. Very good advice.
I thought, it still really resonates with me. This notion of, and so to answer your question in a very roundabout way, advocacy for me is something that I've kind of said I've kept at arm's length because I'm worried that it gets in the way of me trying to be a good parent. Right. But I'm finding that I need to be a good parent and I need to work on that. And I can also do advocacy work. And I'm not a perfect parent by any means. Nor am I a perfect advocate. I'm constantly learning in committee meetings about what I don't know, more about what I don't know than what I do.
Right.
And assumptions. And it's been humbling.